Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. You guys know what time it is. It's free agent frenzy, and it has been a frenzy thus far. Thought I'd get on here and start discussing some of these players that have new homes and how that could potentially impact your fantasy football roster. Not only your favorite team, there is a slew of players that are getting signed to big money deals. We'll talk about offense today, even though there was a lot of defensive players that did get scooped up, like the Brian Burns situation. Good Lord, money's flying all over the board. First, we'll go back to even when it started with Russell Wilson. He's signing with those Pittsburgh Steelers like everybody knows already. Very interesting move, and I tweeted out earlier suggesting that this could potentially be the Kurt Warner type of situation where Kurt succeeded with the Rams, went to Super Bowls. He goes to the New York Giants, tanks, and then finds some success and glory on a Super Bowl run with the Cardinals. Could we see something very similar with a Russell Wilson? We'll see. I think the marriage between him and Mike Tomlin going to be very good. The Steelers are predicated upon running the football extremely well and playing very good defense. So this is a very good system, much like he had in Seattle. Very good defense and a very sound run game. You do got George Pickens, and it's going to be good for Russ in this situation. I just think the whole way it went down in Denver, just not a good fit overall. We'll see how it does go. Do I believe that Russ is washed? He's on the, greater side of being washed, but at this point, signing with these Steelers, it's a good move for both parties. They need a quarterback in Pittsburgh. They have pieces to work with. You're going to obviously draft. What is Pittsburgh's MO anyway? They draft great wide receivers and linebackers, so they're going to hit that in the draft once again, likely adding more offensive punch. As we hear, Deontay Johnson could be out the door via trade as well, so we'll see how that does go in Pittsburgh. But Russell Wilson signed early on in this process with those Steelers. Very good news. We did see one on the lower trend. It was a Mac Money Jones signing with those getting traded, to those Jacksonville Jaguars for a late round pick. And you got to, scratch your head just a little bit on this. Why even bother kicking the tires on a Mac Jones in Jacksonville when you got a Trevor Lawrence? Same draft class, didn't work out for Mac Money Jones. And I'm telling y'all, I don't think that Mac Jones is a terrible quarterback whatsoever. This suggests to me hedge betting. Simple as that. You get a good young quarterback who can learn under Coach Doug Peterson, who's got a pedigree in developing young, talented quarterbacks. Whether it just be for a blue chip, trade potential prospect later down the line, or, what if Trevor Lawrence does get injured? Hedge bet on that as well. They're going to be paying Trevor Lawrence as a franchise quarterback, even though Trevor hasn't necessarily been that generational quote-unquote quarterback that we all thought he would be at this point. Trading for a Mac Jones at this point, the New England Patriots are resetting everything in that room under Coach Mayo. So we'll see how this does shake down. Don't expect a whole heck of a lot from Mac Jones outside of potential opportunity of injury, but Mac Jones definitely notable getting traded to those Jacksonville Jaguars. Baker Mayfield, he gets a new deal, inks a huge deal with these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Found, a little bit of travel around the league since leaving Cleveland, went to the Rams, and then, comes to, Tampa Bay, and he finds some success. It's easy when you're throwing the football to guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and they finally got the run game going with a Rashad White. So you cannot dislike what they're doing in Tampa Bay. 3-year, $100 million deal, $50 million guaranteed for Bake Show. You got to feel good for the guy. He really tried to reset his career because everything that went down in Cleveland was just a, trash can, garbage show for him in his career. Maybe he's humbled himself a little bit. He looked a lot better. Is he on that elite level trend? No, but he's got good talent. They signed a Mike Evans to a big deal as well. So based on what we saw last year from these Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you got to believe that with Bake Show re-upping here in Tampa Bay, we're going to see a very similar, stat line, and he's got some ability in your fantasy leagues to at least, be that good super flex quarterback that you can play on matchups and get some good point productivity out of him as well. I do not dislike the deal for Baker going back to Tampa Bay. Thought it was a good deal. No question. Is it a great deal? We'll see, but it's a good move to keep the train moving in Tampa Bay. The Colts, man, they signed Michael Pittman Jr., and we thought this was an interesting one. Name was being rumored, being floated around for potential trades. Would they get a deal done? They did. 3 years, $70 million, $46 million on the guaranteed. And I think this is a great move, man. You keep building this youthful team with Pittman, with Downs, with Anthony Richardson, with JT in the mix. You got a good offense that you can move upon. What I did love last year, even when Anthony Richardson did go down, we did see them pepper a Pittman with targets, and he was a very strong fantasy football wide receiver that we should be able to trust once again this year with the evolution of a Josh Downs pulling coverage to his side. I do believe that is coming, y'all, so stay tuned for a Josh Downs revolution, but I'm telling y'all, or evolution, I should say, but Michael Pittman is one of these guys that is flying under the radar as being one of the better young wide receivers in this league. He is an absolute stellar talent, and if they can get Anthony Richardson moving in the right direction, Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be flirting again. Top 15 wide receiver numbers, full PPR easily, especially with the fact if they could pepper him with targets like they did last year, he should find his way into the end zone this year. You got to hope a little bit more, but I mean, I do like the signing for him going back. But when talking free agent period, we know that it was DeAndre Swift signing that 3-year, $24 million deal to those Chicago Bears. It's interesting, man. The Justin Fields saga, we're seeing a lot of issues going down right now, saying that a lot of teams only covet JF as a backup quarterback at this point while he continues to mature his game. This is not boding well for the trade market for Justin Fields, so they go out and sign a running back in DeAndre Swift, which you guys know I'm a big fan, always have been, of DeAndre Swift. Just clouds the backfield just a little bit. You still got Khalil Herbert. You got yourself Roschon Johnson. Now you add yourself a little DeAndre Swift. You're mixing matching skill sets, which is nice. Roschon's that bully running back where you got DeAndre being that, nimble, crazy, elusive type, pass-catching PPR running back, and it's a good move. Will it translate overall into something great in Chicago? We will see. Are they still going to draft a Caleb Williams? Those are the big question marks that we want to see. We saw Darnell Mooney just got shipped out and he went somewhere else also. So you got picks the Chicago Bears do. Do they stick with Justin Fields and, draft a Marvin Harrison Jr. to add to a DJ Moore and Cole Kmet? And then now you got at least a formidable offense here that a Justin Fields should be able to succeed with. If you go down the Caleb Williams path, now you're going to have to rely on this run game quite a bit, which is good news for DeAndre Swift because it will produce volume upside, but it is going to be a crowded backfield, no question. You got to believe all three runners are going to see time in this backfield, especially with Swift's injury history. So, I mean, for me, fantasy football-wise, it's not my greatest destination I was hoping for DeAndre Swift, but there is potential for good volume upside and, at least, great, schemes and systems for Swift to be that guy. Is he going to be the true lead back in this offense? I highly doubt it, but we shall see because Roschon's still a very talented, quality running back, and we'll see what DeAndre Swift does. So, I mean, for the money, you got to think he's going to at least see a sizable role, but you got to believe it's going to be at least a double-headed monster, if not a triple-headed monster in Chicago, which does cloud, the fantasy football community for, trying to get those top-end points from your running back. Kirk Cousins, he goes and signs with those Atlanta Falcons. Massive deal. I got to get in touch with his agent because I don't know how the hell he keeps on getting these deals, man. $180 million on a 4-year deal, $50 million signing bonus. I believe it was $100 million guaranteed. This man has done wonders when it comes to guaranteed money, playing on the franchise tag. Kirk, I got to get your agent's number because I need some more dollar bills on my pockets, but this is an interesting one. While it is an upgrade, they're looking for that veteran. He is older, and he is coming off the Achilles injury. So you got to, pause just a little bit, and I would have thought at least they would have went youth here, and it's time to rebuild. Atlanta Falcons have, a history, especially under past general manager Dimitroff, to suggest, try to keep the wheels going rather than doing a full rebuild. And I understand they're trying this again with a Kirk Cousins. Kirk can still play. We've seen it, man. 4,000-yard passer, throwing at Justin Jefferson and company. Now you got the likes of a Bijan who can take pressure off. You got Kyle Pitts, who should see a resurgence. Drake London, and then you did add a Darnell Mooney, like I'm saying. So it's a good situation. I do like how these Falcons are building. New head coach. They're going to have a new culture in this team. Defense was playing very well last year, so you add a good quarterback play because obviously Ritter was not that guy. Heineke was not that guy. You needed a capable quarterback in a division like this that is still very much winnable because it is one of the weaker divisions in all of football. So you see where Kirk is going with this situation where he's saying, yeah, okay, I played in very tough divisions before. Now it's time I go to a little bit one more that that is a little bit more cake, I should say. And then, maybe he could get himself into the playoffs and make a decent postseason run. But coming off the Achilles with that type of dollars is crazy talk. Clearly, they like what they see on the medicals, and Kirk Cousins is now an Atlanta Falcon. Like I'm saying, Darnell Mooney, he does sign with these Atlanta Falcons. A big deal, 3-year, $39 million. It's an overpay. Let's be real. I'm good with Darnell Mooney. I'm a big fan of his game. He is, a lot of people don't think that he's a good separator, good route runner. Go watch his film and his tape. He does that very well. Yes, did he pull back these last 2 years? Absolutely. But I got to say, it was a system in Chicago. It was a poor quarterback play. How many times did we see the ball sail over his head when he got open and he was trying to make a grab anyway? So I'm not putting it all on Darnell Mooney in Chicago these past 2 years to suggest that's his standard in his game. His 1,000-yard season back in 2021, I believe, or 2022, it was great, man. I mean, his game was really on point, and that's why everyone was hoping that he was going to ascend in this next direction with Justin Fields. Just did not happen, but now he signs with these Atlanta Falcons. Now you got yourselves Drake London, like I said, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Bijan Robinson, and you add a Kirk Cousins. This is going to be an offense that should be able to move the ball quite regularly, you want to believe. What is it going to be his stat line moving forward? I mean, 3-year, $39 million. You got to believe they're going to use the man quite a bit, but it is going to be a secondary piece. But targets got to come from somewhere, and you know that. Are we going to see a Kirk Cousins force-feeding Drake London like we did with Justin Jefferson? Highly doubtful. So I do believe that at least these Falcons can spread the ball quite a bit and then use Bijan in the backfield to run the football and control clock. So I do like the signing. You need somebody to pull coverage away from a Drake London, and Darnell Mooney is definitely one of those guys to do that for him. Jacksonville Jaguars signed our boy Gabe Davis. Mr. Alpha, I was quoting him, and I'm still a big fan, okay? And this is sad. Thanks for the memories, Gabe. Bills Mafia will always love you, always support you, but he had to move on. He had to go get his bag, and I mean, he did that in Jacksonville, goes back to Florida, played college UCF. So, I mean, it's just, easy pickings for a Gabe Davis. He's a good wide receiver. The Bills last year just didn't utilize him as such. Is he the default at number one wide receiver? There isn't really truly one unless you're really counting Christian Kirk to be that guy. Even though I'm a big fan of Christian Kirk and he is got the best chemistry with a Trevor Lawrence at this point, Gabe Davis is going to be able to do a lot of things well in this offense. He's a very good run blocker. He can go deep down the field. If you expand his route tree to be over the middle, he will make those plays. His hands were the biggest issue for Gabe Davis these past 2 years, fighting the ball a lot, hence why a lot of people got off the bandwagon saying Gabe is not a good talent anymore. If he fixes those hands, I think Gabe's going to be just fine in this offense and going to be able to produce. Is it going to be on the top level wide receiver one numbers? Probably not. I'm going to sit here on this right now and say no, but I do think that his stat line should at least increase. We could see his first 1,000-yard season in the NFL with these Jags. I would not be shocked whatsoever, but I mean, anywhere from 6 to 10 touchdowns is definitely not out of the question if they utilize Gabe properly. So Gabe, man, deuces up, man. Peace out. We got to love you. But I mean, you're going to a rival now, so we're not liking you as much. We got signing Tony Pollard. He is expected to sign with these Tennessee Titans. Now the Derrick Henry, King Henry, he's signed somewhere else. Also got him down my board as well. This is interesting. Why the Titans would want to go down this direction of signing a Tony Pollard when they got a guy of similar likeness in a Tajay Spears. So you got to think, do they trust the knees of a Tajay Spears who has had knee troubles in the past? Is Tony Pollard this guy? And I mean, everybody wanted him to be the guy in Dallas last year in the fantasy community, raising his stock. I was lukewarm. I said, yeah, he's a good talent. Dallas doesn't run the football as much with Mike McCarthy. And I mean, is he going to really be that successful? Yes, he's explosive. Yes, he did prove to me that he could handle the football well over 200 carries. So it's good in that sense. Am I believing that it's going to be great in Tennessee? I'm a little bit worried here, man. I'm talking it's going to be a dual-headed backfield between him and Tajay. Maybe they put in a little Hassan Haskins. Maybe they go to the draft and draft another running back with a different skill set. We will see. I mean, it is a rebuilding Tennessee Titans club. No more Ryan Tannehill. No more Derrick Henry. We'll see what happens with DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, you got Treylon Burks, and then you got Will Levis and Malik Willis being your quarterbacks that you're going to choose from. adding a guy like Tony Pollard when you had somebody like King Henry is got to be a downgrade in my opinion at this point. Will this make them a little bit more explosive, go to the outside a little bit more? That might be the situation that you're looking for with a Tony Pollard in Tennessee, which is why I do not hate it. I just don't love it. I think, the way that we're just so used to Derrick Henry and the smash mouth football that they do play in Tennessee. Tony Pollard should give them a little bit more, electric playmaking ability with Spears, and then maybe they spread out defenses that much more. Maybe we see Treylon Burks finally get on track and, stay on the field instead of the medical room. So it is an interesting signing. Am I really running to the, redrafts to go get a Tony Pollard at this point? Probably not. In dynasty football, I mean, it is what it is. If you got Tony Pollard, you got to hold him at this point and hope for the best that he does, make some good stat lines so that it will up his value so you can at least ship him somewhere else. But I think there's other quality running backs that you could have over a Tony Pollard at this point. The big one was Saquon. My guy Saquon goes and signs with the rival in Philadelphia. Fly, Eagles, fly is now Saquon's house. Going back to Penn where he did play his college football. And it's a big deal. 3-year, $37.75 million for Saquon. Got his bag, and then everybody in New York's hating on the man for going to the rival. What did you expect Saquon to do, man? Play like he was on an internship, not getting his money? He was nothing but class for y'all in New York. Played on the franchise tag, got his knee injured how many times on that damn MetLife turf? I'm okay with Saquon going to the rival in this sense. He got his money, and he's going to a team that really has a better field. Let's just say that. And here we go. Even though we understand that Kelce did retire the center for these Eagles, this is going to be one of the best offensive lines that he's ever played behind. And with a running offense that is first and foremost, you got Saquon up on your fantasy team. His value's driving up the roof for me right now. As soon as they fix that center position where Jason Kelce did depart, I think this is a match made in heaven. We saw with DeAndre Swift, and I was a huge DeAndre Swift supporter last year going to Philadelphia. You think I was huge on Swift before? Now I'm even bigger on Saquon Barkley because, Barkley's always been that talent. Yes, the injuries, we understand. I did a video of potential landing spots of Saquon down the list here, and Philadelphia was definitely one of the targets to be. How will it turn out with Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts, we know with the brotherly shove, tush push, he does vulture touchdowns. But without Kelce, I want to see that work now. Kelce was the catalyst in making that play work. So even if the NFL does ban it, you got a guy like Saquon who could run from the goal line. We could literally see anywhere from 250 to 280 touches from the backfield for Saquon without kidding. You still got A.J. Brown. You got Devontae Smith, Smitty. And it's going to be still a good offense, man. You need this offense was predicated upon the run game anyway. And when we saw the Eagles collapse last year is because they started moving away from it. You bring a guy like Saquon, they're going to run the football a lot in Philly. And I do like the sign, especially for fantasy football. I think it's going to be wonderful. Giants do sign Devin Singletary, another one of the former Buffalo Bills. It's okay. It's not great. I do like, Eric Gray they got in the backfield. Is he a true number one running back in the NFL? We'll see. Probably not. He's a good change of pace guy. Devin showed at least with those Texans that he's serviceable like he was in Buffalo, but he doesn't scream elite talent. And that's what you're not going to get from a Devin Singletary motor. It's a good deal for him. He got some money, and he's going to go play with Brian Dable once again. It's a good move. It just doesn't move the needle for me to suggest that this is great news for the New York Giants. They got wide receiver troubles. Who's going to be your quarterback? Everyone says they're out on Danny Penny's Daniel Jones. So we'll see. But Singletary definitely added some running back prowess that they desperately required. Will they add another one in the NFL draft? Very highly likely. We could see that also. They got good guys like Braylon Allen. You bring him to New York, I would like that a lot more. But Devin Singletary, I don't dislike, but it's not necessarily moving the needle to that nth degree for me to be all warm and fuzzy. Chargers signed Gus Edwards, Gus the boss, and now, things are looking toward my dude Isaiah Spiller being at least, getting carries in this backfield once and for all, but highly unlikely to be the lead back, either one of these gentlemen. And you got to believe with Coach Harbaugh now, these Bolts are going to be absolutely dreadful next year. Talking about trading Khalil Mack, talking about trading Bosa. They lost their linebacker Murray. The secondary's in disarray. They got no money. They lost Austin Eckler. They're talking about trading Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. QJ didn't necessarily pan out. What are they going to do in LA? Lots of issues here. And they go and sign Gus the Bus. So we'll see. I do believe even with the Coach Harbaugh, He thought he was inheriting a very great team with lots of talent. There are these talents being shipped out the door right now, and they could actually draft themselves a Blake Corum, which would, put the Michigan ties back to the Chargers with Harbaugh. So definitely could see that. They're definitely going to add another running back in this draft. You got to say, potential odds are it is going to be a Blake Corum, but Gus the Bus does add some depth to this running back room, and I'm still a big fan of an Isaiah Spiller. I think he just needs an opportunity. Give the man 200 carries. Let's see what he can do. If he fails you, then okay, I will never speak his name again, but I do like myself Isaiah Spiller quite a bit, man. Big one we saw early on yesterday was Josh Jacobs signing with those Green Bay Packers. In a subsequent move, they released Aaron Jones as well. 4-year deal, $48 million on a youthful offense that I loved. And what did I say? Going all the way back to last offseason, Jordan Love was one of my sleeper quarterback candidates that you could trust late if you were drafting that way. Likely got you a fantasy football championship if you'd use that formula. Now they continue to add. They got a boatload of wide receivers in Green Bay. Jordan Love looked absolutely phenomenal as the season wore on. How did I state it in that video? I said he's going to fly out the gates, Jordan Love, quick. He was going to see a little bit of pause because defensive teams would have more film on him, and then he would struggle a little bit, and then he would finish the season extremely strong, which is all what did transpire. So Josh Jacobs adding here a good running back. It's okay. Is it necessarily a major upgrade to an Aaron Jones? I don't think so. I think it's very, kind of even Steven at this point, where Aaron Jones did give you more in the pass game. It's not that, Josh Jacobs can't catch the football, but it was more versatile, scheming potential with an Aaron Jones, but then health aside was the biggest issue. How many times did they lose Aaron Jones to injury? Hence why they want a workhorse back that can relieve pressure from a Jordan Love. And these wide receiver core, like I'm saying, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Wicks is coming up. Double tight ends. Very youthful, very good squad, and I think Josh Jacobs is going to fit in extremely well. Good offensive line to block for him, and you're going to see what Josh Jacobs can do in this offense, which is going to be very exciting to watch this coming season. Gardner Minshew, he signs a 2-year deal with the Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, they're trying to upgrade the quarterback spot. Okay, everyone else gone. Kirk Cousins gone. What else are you going to do at this point? Russell Wilson's gone. Are you going to go to the draft and get a rookie? This is perfect opportunity once again for a Gardner Minshew to at least challenge for the starting role while grooming a new rookie quarterback for this Raiders squad. Everyone's saying Aiden O'Connell's going to have competition. Aiden O'Connell's just not the dude. I'm sorry. He's probably a perennial 15-year backup in the NFL. That's fine. Can fill in games, but he's not a starting caliber quarterback for a full 17, and we all know this. Is Gardner Minshew that guy? He proved at least he could hang with the best of them with those Colts. Took him on a very good close run to get into the postseason. So, it is good news for a Minshew. Good ups for him. He's going to have at least a challenge for a spot to be the starting quarterback with the Raiders, but I don't foresee the Raiders being done just yet, as I do believe they're going to add in the NFL draft. The Washington Commanders, the Commies. I told you, man, there's a ton of players, man, we're talking about. They signed themselves Austin Eckler to a 2-year deal worth $11.43, and I'm not a fan. Okay, I do like Austin Eckler. I'm a B-Rob guy. The Brian Robinson Jr., I think that he is very much a 3-down back in this league. He can catch, he can block, he's big body. Does he got supreme wheels, B-Rob? No, but at least he's very much, able to be the true workhorse back. Clearly, they want to pull some of the carries back, and you put a nice, formidable duel like this together. Austin Eckler can do it all. He can score touchdowns. He can do it the receiving game, and then you got Brian Robinson. So keeping both these running backs fresh, depending on if they do draft another quarterback, which is highly likely, whether it's going to be Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, they're going to have somebody at least competing with a Sam Howell at this point. Yes, they did sign Marcus Mariota, but that's null and void at this point. But you got to have a quarterback to competition here. You're going to need running backs to help support the cause, take some pressure off your rookie quarterback if that's the path that they do go down. They do got wide receivers for days. We know this. Scary Terry, Jahan Dotson, still two of the premier quality talents in this league. Curtis Samuel likely departing, signing somewhere else very soon as we speak today, right now. But Austin Eckler to the Commies. Wasn't the best for me, but I can understand it, and I think that there will be a lot of touches to go around for this man as well, especially in the red zone. He is known to score touchdowns, 69 TDs in his career or whatever it was. Very good for the end zone. Zach Moss goes to these Cincinnati Bengals. In the subsequent move, we did see, I'll get down to that, but Zach Moss signs a 2-year deal, $8 million. Okay, and I mean, he's good for him. He's riding the coattails of last season, showing the fact that he can play football at a decent level till he broke his forearm, played very well with those Colts, was a fantasy waiver wire darling for a lot of you teams until JT came back. Playing here in Cincinnati, you got Chase Brown to contend with. And I think Chase Brown is the better back overall, but you can see a definite split backfield here in Cincinnati between a Zach Moss and a Chase Brown, and I think it's going to do very well. So we'll see how it does go. I've never been a huge Zach Moss supporter, even with his days in Buffalo, but it's an easy sign when you understand the deal that they did have before that, and I will get to that as we go down the board. But Aaron Jones, post-release, he does find his way to the Minnesota Vikings, signing a 1-year, $7 million deal. And then on top of that, you see that they signed Sam Darnold to a, 1-year deal worth $10 million. So at least they're trying. I mean, I wouldn't try necessarily too hard with a Sam Darnold. Justin Jefferson's got to be, rolling around screaming and kicking because Aaron Jones signing is very nice. But Sam Darnold, really, man? You're going to sign me Sam Darnold after Kirk Cousins? It's a tough situation. Are the Vikings going to be in on a quarterback in this NFL draft trying to trade up for a rookie passer? Absolutely very viable at this point, especially with Sam Darnold really being your only potential go-to. Nick Mullins maybe continues to play, but you needed to add some running back depth. Ty Chandler still is the back here. They released Alexander Mattison before free agency period did open, but Aaron Jones, 1 year, a $7 million deal. He's still got lots left in those legs, and I'm telling y'all, as he did look healthy coming back last season, I think a full healthy Aaron Jones with a Justin Jefferson, with a Jordan Addison, sign me up all day long. They're not going to have TJ Hawkinson probably for the beginning part of the NFL season because he is dealing with that ACL injury. So you're going to have to rely on a lot of your playmakers, including Aaron Jones. There's going to be volume upside for days when it comes to an Aaron Jones. Like I said, Vikings are signing Sam Darnold to a 1-year, $10 million deal. Don't necessarily like it whatsoever, but I mean, they require a quarterback. Could Sam Darnold, be the guy to, get his career back on track in Minnesota? Very possible as well. Joe Mixon, I didn't have it on my board, but he did get traded to those Houston Texans as well, which was good after Zach Moss got his deal. They did trade him. The rumor was they were going to release a Joe Mixon, but he did get a trade to a Houston Texans, which is great news for CJ Stroud and company. So I do like that as well. Last one before we get out of here, because there is more coming. Free agent frenzy is just getting started here on day 2. And I mean, King Derrick Henry, 2-year, $16 million deal worth up to 20, signing with these Baltimore Ravens. And a Lamar Jackson, going to be very scary on the ground. And look, okay, they tried the wide receiver, add wide receivers, give Lamar more weapons, see what Lamar can do. And again, they phase out in the playoffs. What else can you say, man? We've seen this MO before. You got to give him a good running game, good quality running game. Now with a Derrick Henry, you can lean upon it, get the RPOs, get the play action pass going. Lamar Jackson should be able to flourish. Go and grab yourself another wide receiver out of this draft who is of elite nature caliber, and you will have them play ball. Run game is what it's got to be with Lamar Jackson. He requires that safety net. I'm not kidding. I'm not sitting here telling you Lamar Jackson's not a good quarterback in this league, because he is. He just requires that running game, and it take pressure off the man, and you're going to see him succeed. That's how it's going to work, and getting a King Henry who still has at least something left in the tank, I do believe it's a big signing for these Ravens. Good stuff, no question about it. But there you have it. That is day 2 as we're going to keep going down. Free agent frenzy. Want to touch base on my thoughts of what I see with these signings at this point right now. So many moving parts, so many defensive players being moved around as well. It is good stuff. Going to break all this down for y'all so you're ready for the upcoming season for fantasy football. Gonna have tons of rookie NFL draft content coming with you as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.